Tesla Model 3 had recently become available for leasing after over 2 years being on the market, and it was a big deal. It was definitely a big deal. A lot of people were waiting for the leasing option, and as you know, I preach this all the time to you guys on this channel that leasing is usually a much better option than purchasing, especially if you have a good credit score, if you don't drive like too many ridiculous number of miles, and if you want to drive a new car that's under warranty and switch every 3 or 4 years. In that case, it is almost crazy to actually buy your car or listen, I have quite a few videos about it. You know how I feel about it. But now that Tesla Model 3 is up for lease, looking at the numbers, it is really a tough sell, I have to tell you. So let me give you some of the numbers that I see on their website. I'll compare it to Kia Niro EV, which is a similarly priced car in a relatively similar category, and I'll tell you what else you can buy for that almost same price out there on the market if you're not necessarily looking for an electric car. All of this is coming up next. Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, so I don't want to repeat myself too much, especially, you can watch my other videos about leasing, and I've done quite a few of them. But if until recently I was very much set on getting the Audi e-tron, and now that I've been kind of wavering on that and almost kind of deciding to push that decision maybe to closer to the end of the summer and just drive my Volt for a while, I've been kind of getting back looking at the Tesla Model 3 as an option maybe for the next year or two, and that's why I got really excited when it was finally available for lease. But once I look at those prices, I realized that they don't look very good. As a matter of fact, I remember I was trying to lease a Model S at the end of last year, and I've noticed that the pricing for pretty much the same, base model with some of the couple of extra features that I wanted, the leasing have gone up by $200-300 a month for the same type of the car that I got 3 years ago. So overall, Tesla leasing has not been very friendly to budget type of folk like me, who I mean, I like a deal pretty much just like the next guy. But let's go back to Model 3 and let's examine it. Now, I'm getting these numbers from their website, and I gotta tell you, I'm not really crazy about how they're doing that stuff on their website. It's not really clear whether the order payment is part of the due at signing amount or not, and they're also not allowing you to lower the vehicle subtotal price, even though it is possible. Like, for example, right now in Canada they are offering it for less than a certain price, and also you can lower it even though they do offer it, like for example in this case is a standard range plus, they do offer it without the autopilot for 37.5. I know it's off the menu, but the calculator, why not let me figure that out as well? But they are not, so I'm not really crazy about the calculator. But here are the numbers that I'm getting, and I should tell you that it looks like all of the numbers I'm talking about do not include taxes and fees and stuff like that, but I feel like still it's a relatively a good comparison since none of them include that. Okay, so let's look at these numbers. Now the total price with the destination fee, it's a little over $40,000, about $4,000 due at signing at 36-month lease, and with a 10,000 mile allowance per year, which is the lowest one. As you know, there's a certain amount of miles you're allowed to drive per year, and really it's not per year, it's per, you let's say it's 10,000 miles per year, you're leasing it for 3 years, that's really 30,000 miles per 3 years. But the common way of saying it's 10,000 per year is $511 per month. Okay, now, first of all, let me mention something, that Tesla is really the only car company that is not going to allow you to buy the Model 3 at the end of the term. Now, they're claiming it is because they're going to use them for the robo-taxi service that they come up with, which is a bit odd because, why not make new cars for that rather than using used cars? So that's a little weird, but they're not going to do that. But that reminds me of, the very first electric car that we all kind of know that wasn't available for purchase and were all destroyed, right? I'm just saying that memory little string that goes back into that, no. But anyway, listen, one of the reasons that having no purchase option is actually taking away one of the cool and good parts of leasing, because the reason sometimes you want to purchase your car is because you're going to win some money from the bank. As a matter of fact, that's one of the few times when you can actually screw the bank. So let me tell you what that actually means. I know it's some of my other videos, but this is really important. Before that, let me just quickly remind you that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out the all-new, all-electric SUV called M-Byte, coming to the US and Europe, starting at only $45,000 and with over 300-mile range. It's scheduled to be here next year. Over 50,000 reservations made out there. You should get yours as well. No money down whatsoever, and it takes about 60 seconds to get it. Go to byton.com, or there's a link in the description of this video. Okay, so the way you can screw the bank is that, let's say you bought a $100,000 car, and you calculated the lease payments, and the lease agreement is so that the residual value, the value that bank believes the car is going to be worth at the end of the lease, is $50,000. But let's say it was good 3 years and the car maintained more value than it really everybody thought, or at least the bank thought, and let's say it was worth $55,000. Well, you can buy that car out of the bank for $50,000 and then sell it for 55. So that way you gain the $5,000 back that you would have lost. But if, let's say, the car is worth $45,000, then it's the bank that will take a hit of $5,000. Like right now, the car I have right now, I believe that's $10,000 that the bank is going to take a hit on, even maybe more. So I win again. But that is taken away from you. And so that's definitely a con. Now, let's compare this. And I got to tell you, I didn't need to compare it. When I saw this, I know that just by numbers, I've been leasing all my life. These numbers are really high. So let's take Kia Niro EV, okay? And their MSRP is about the same, a little less, for 40,000, same down payment, same term. Obviously, you can purchase it at the end, but it's 319, right? So that's a huge difference. 511, 319. Now, let me tell you what the difference is in terms of the pricing, because the total pricing is MSRP. As you know, Tesla doesn't really Tesla doesn't really do discounts, so zero discounts. But Kia will give you 8,000 discount, even though it's a brand new car that just came on the market here in the United States. So that's a big difference. And of course, the U.S. tax rebate is cut in half for Tesla, and actually going to be phased out even more in another couple of months. But for Kia, it's a full $7,500, so there goes more discounts. And I would assume there would be even more reasons for Tesla to kind of, fool around with the residual values and just make it a little bit more attractive. But nevertheless, and don't forget, some people don't like they value the Kia Niro EV as much as they might value the standard range Model 3 or even more, especially if they need a lot of trunk space. Obviously, it's a hatchback, it's a compact SUV. It can be purchased after the lease. Better parts availability, better service, all that stuff that we've talked about many times in terms of why people choose other brands over a Tesla. Obviously not in the same in terms of technology, but a lot of people don't need that. I'm just saying, not everybody like us, at least a lot of us who love the technology, love the brand. Some people just want a car, and yes, they want it to be electric, but other than that, they don't need the self-driving technologies and over-the-air updates and stuff like that. They just want to drive their kids to school. So in that case, this is a much more attractive offer. Now, what I also did, I just figured, like, well, what else can I lease for the very similar amount, And I gave myself 3 minutes. Literally, I said, I'm going to take 3 minutes. I'm going to see what they can find similar to that for people who don't even care about buying an electric car. If let's say they have a difference between Model 3 and something else, and what I found is this is a 5 Series BMW. And it's a little more due at signing, a little about like $900 more or so, as you can see at the bottom of there. But the payment is pretty much the same, $519. Again, doesn't include taxes and fees and stuff like that. But I gotta tell you, if people don't necessarily care about Tesla versus BMW, it's kind of the same type of a luxury brand for them, and they don't care gas versus electric. This is a much more attractive deal for them, to them, I would say, right? It's a whole new, bigger car, a higher class of the higher model class. Now, people might say, well, what about the gas savings and stuff like that? Well, here's the thing. Some people cannot even have an electric car because they just don't have the charging capabilities in their apartment complexes or their houses and so forth. But if this is your first car that you're buying that's electric, don't forget you might have to invest up to $2,000 in installation fees for the charging station, right? So there goes a lot of savings. Also depends on what kind of plan you have. A lot of times, a lot of houses kind of are, they're using electricity within under the cap, but once they get a big battery car like a Tesla, that really skyrockets their electric bill. In my case, I pretty much pay as much for my electric bill for my car as I pay for the rest of my house. And I work from home all day long and run air conditioning and heater. So those savings are also elusive. And of course, the cost of insurance is much higher for Tesla, as we all know, than of equivalent car. So savings between gas cars and Teslas are not as great as Tesla make it sound to be. And if you do a little bit of math, you'll see with some installations and insurance costs, it's very similar. So I'm saying that somebody who is choosing between the Model 3 and the BMW 5 Series, given that it's pretty much the same price, I think a lot of people would choose the 5 Series. Let me know if I'm wrong. And if you're a Tesla fan, obviously you're biased. We can't have your opinion. But if you really don't care, even if you don't care about whether it's a gas car or an electric, let me know in the comment section. I'm kind of curious to know. Am I right here? But either way, I gotta tell you, just from years and years and years of leasing, that Model 3 price, the leasing price, is way too high for my taste, and I think for a lot of people's taste. It's a little disappointing. I know they're still selling them like hotcakes, but at some point they're gonna have to do something about it. They're gonna have to compete, because right now this is not a competitive price. Don't forget to sign up for our VIP list, where we do some exclusive stories every week and some offers that we don't necessarily provide here on this channel or our website. And of course, I want to give a quick shout out to David, one of my newer Patreons. Thank you so much for becoming a part of my Patreon community, the only place where you can watch me live. And thank you to all of my Patreons for supporting my independent YouTube channel. All right, let me know what you guys think. Which deal would you take? And do you think that between the gas car and electric car, gas cars might still be winning in terms of the deal that they offer? Let me know in the comment section. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.